One. How's it going, world? This is Tyson Paul from WeOnTheLaughs.com, and today I have a very special guest with me. She is Brooklyn born and bred, and she has a new comedy special about to be released on January 27th. Now, you're going to learn a lot about her throughout this interview because if you're a theater major or a theater addict, this is just one you're going to want to love to watch. And if you're a comedy fan, this is just one you're going to love by the end of this because she's an amazing person. Let's give it up for the one and only Miss Candice Guardino. How's it going, Candice?
Hi, thanks for having me.
Oh man, it was a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Now I got to learn a lot about you. I got to learn a lot about the your upcoming special. I've seen some clips, and actually they're pretty amazing. Uh, I already know you have a very wild family, so we'll get to them. But first, I wanted to start off by saying congratulations on the debut special. But tell me a little bit about the beginning stages and the process and how you decided to, one, come up with a comedy special, and then also the reason for naming it Italian Bread.
Well, I have to give my mom all the credit, not because she had me, but because she came up with Italian bread. And I'll tell you, moms are good for these things. I was literally sitting at her kitchen table and I was telling her about this idea of a show I wanted to make. And she was like, "Is it a stand-up? You're not a stand-up." And I was like, no. It's storytelling, mom. And because deep down I grew up in theater and I was and still am always the comedic relief in a theater show, right? Like that's just if you come see me in something, I'm usually that. And I love to storytell. So I wanted to bridge the gap. And I'm like, there's got to be a way to do a show that's sort of like stand up, but it's, storytelling long form. And there's music, like there's music in it. There's a whole musical comedy element to it where I'm singing because I grew up as a singer. And I also like, I don't know if you remember, but like the Whoopi Goldberg and the Lily Tomlin one woman shows, like I loved those. And I was like, I want to do that. And I want to bridge the gap. So when I was sitting around the kitchen table talking to my mom about this, and she was like, I don't know, Candace, it's not going to work. You're a born and bred Brooklyn girl. She's like, we're Italian, Italian bread. I'm like, oh, that's a great name. I was like, we're going to call it that. She's like, why would you call it that? I'm like, because I'm literally making fun of all of us.
Well, Italians are known to be loud
Oh,
and
yeah.
very charismatic. So, like
Yes.
naming the special Italian Bread, like kind of runs up the alley of stand up comedy in general because,
Yep.
like you said before, being a theater major, like you love to be on stage and love to entertain and most importantly, like most people when we go to New York or go to a Broadway show, we want to laugh.
Yes.
Mostly, we don't. It's not like we want to see something really
Yes.
tragic. We want to see something that's entertaining and makes us laugh. So, you name it Italian Bread. Okay, how did this whole process start of creating your special?
Yeah. So when I realized like what this was, because I did a few years of, I'm going to call it stand up comedy because I did. I went to the Gothams in New York and these, comedy cellars and sort of these venues that were strictly stand up comedy. And I was like, I got to try out a character or two and see if this even works. So I did do that for a bit. And I realized, okay, they're funny, but now I want to create the show. And I started to do cabaret versions of it where it was, a 30-minute show. And then I got to 40 minutes and then I just kept expanding. And before I knew it, I was at the 85 minutes that I wanted to be at. And I said to myself, I'm touring. I had a manager or two come up to me and, try to work with me. And it was so interesting. They all had the same feedback, which was you have to really tour it. My version was I'm doing it in cabaret places in New York. And they're like, no, you need to go to other cities and see if this lands. Like you're just hanging out in New York where everyone is, loves a New Yorker. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like I was nervous. So I did start somewhere around 2018. I started to really like, okay, let's start to tour and figure out what my brand is. Now I've changed the show a bazillion times since, 2018, but it was a learning lesson because I did learn one thing. Every city has a family that relates to me has someone who's like, oh my God, I know these people. So there was a lot of reassurance while I was on tour because I was like, okay, people are totally relating. People like running up to me at the show, being like, your mom is my mom. Oh my God, your grandmother, your father, your like everyone. So there was such a universal feel that I started to have a little bit of confidence to be like, okay, this is good. This is what I'm producing and what I'm putting out there is funny and relatable, and people are having a great time. Like you said, we want to sit, we want to go on an experience when we see a show. We want to feel like we just had 2 hours with our phones not in our hands and it was an amazing journey, and that's what we want to do. And then somewhere along the way I was like, I feel like I want to tape this, and then you run into the, oh, so it's a comedy special, and I'm like, it is, but it's a theatrical comedy special. It's still the same, you know, show that I've been trying to really stay in that lane of musical comedy theater. And putting up a special was crazy. I've never done that before, you know, and I had amazing people that helped me along the way. But if you've ever done, which I'm sure you know, it's like cameramen and directors and I was like, this is a lot of work. And it was, you know, for one to capture that one or two performances, and you try to get the best you can. And I wanted it to live forever somewhere on some streamer. I was like, God willing, anything. I'm so grateful that Amazon and Apple are yes, but it was like, you know, at that point, you're just like, anyone, let it live somewhere, because you did so much work and so many people were involved and you want them to feel like it was worth it too. So I wanted it to sort of have this streaming life, to be captured, to see, so people can really see what it is from, you know, their living room. And that's a whole nother medium that's really exciting for a show like this.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. What I want to ask you is, because mostly the special centers around your family and how much love you have for them and how wild they can be. Um, including family in your stand-up can be very difficult for a comedian at times, especially when it's like you're kind of unveiling like personal stories uh about your closest family members to the world. And then like you said earlier, people keep coming up to you and saying, oh my God, my mom's the same way, or my aunt or uncle or anything. Were there any blowbacks from your family watching the special? And then were there any over exaggerations from family members saying they don't act like that but really do?
Yes, of course. Everyone has an opinion in my family, dear God. The first thing that happened was my father said, are you going to make any money doing this? Because that's, you know, all my father cared about.
Yeah.
And still does, by the way. That's all he
Yeah.
cares about. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter anything. Just, are you making any money?
Yeah.
And my mom cared about one thing. Don't embarrass me. Just don't embarrass me. So in the beginning, my mom came to a lot of my shows and sat in the last row and would hide her face.
Yeah.
And then as the show got a little more popular, she'd sit in the middle, and then
Yeah.
she'd come a little closer. And now she's like a front row, you know, audience member. And I get the notes from her, my sister, and my father after the show. If they come see a performance, sometimes I'm like, I don't even like share them my tour schedule, because I'm like, oh God, because if they come to a show, they're going to give me notes after. And I'm like, I really don't need notes from you. And it's like, you don't do this right. That's not how I would say it. Why did you write this line in? Oh, it's funnier if you say it this way. And it's like, oh dear God. My sister's biggest note for me every time is like, why am I not in this more? And I'm like,
Oh.
Jesus Christ. She's like, I'm the best character in the show, and you have like 4 scenes of me. And I'm like, oh my God, you know, so it's like the energy of them is a lot. So I didn't get the backlash of like, how could you say that? I got the backlash of like, why am I not in this enough?
It's a very, very attention hungry family.
Exactly.
Because you include your grandmother in this.
Yes, my grandmother passed a few years ago, but this is the thing that it makes me giggle is like, if she was alive, she would be sitting in the front row because I know her, and she would be not critiquing, but she would be having a conversation with me and being like, that's right, that happened. She's not lying, because that was her. She put everything out on the table. You knew everything about her. There was no secrets. And if there was a secret, it was a giant one that we weren't supposed to know, you know, for very good reasons. But she was a very a non-traditional grandmother. Most grandmas are like these little house dress, tan tights, and orthopedic shoes. Grandma, that was not my grandmother. My grandmother was like black sexy slips, spike heels, red lips, like super sexy,
Yeah.
super confident, and like talked to me like I was a 25-year-old woman at like 6 years old. Like literally, that's just how we had conversations that a 6-year-old should not be involved in. And she didn't care. She was like,
I'm
"You're gonna learn anyway."
I'm starting to think your grandmother would have been like the queen of the dating apps.
Yes, 100%. You see like famous influencers over 60. I'm like, this would have been my grandmother. Except she wouldn't have been like, try this beauty product. She would have been like, this is crap, and here's why. Like,
Mm, mm. So with you focusing mostly on your Italian heritage, like why do you think Italian comedy is so funny? Because I mean, there's so many great Italian comedy films and stuff, and then also uh, the genre has seen a lot of great Italian comedians. Like, and you're also one of them. Like, how did it just come up to just be like, is it in the sauce or is it in like what
first of all, very sweet that you're including me in the group of Italian comedians, because yeah, there's so many wonderful ones, right? And I feel like the thing about Italians is that we don't give a shit. Am I allowed to say that on here? We don't care. We don't care what you think. We know what we think, and we also own it. Like, my literally had a conversation with my friend yesterday where she was like, "You're claiming that as Italian, but that's just like a New Yorker thing." I'm like, "No, it's an Italian thing." Like, we claim everything. We always got a guy. We're covered, and we don't give a shit what you think. So I think that's why maybe it is so funny to others, because they're like, these people don't care. And by the way, if you're a family member, we also call you out. Like, we call each other out. There's no like, oh, everyone's wonderful, she's your sister, so you have to be nice. No, if you're acting awful, we're going to tell you. So I do think we literally speak our minds all the time, every day. I actually feel bad for my husband, because he was like, you just say what's on your like mind, right? And I literally was like, if it's on my lung, it's on my tongue, and it's coming out. I was like, that's it. That's the end of it. And it's true. We just don't care. So I think that maybe that makes for good comedy, right? And there's always like 30 of us in a room. Like, holidays just passed and everyone said, "Oh, I'm going to see my family. It's a lot, it's a lot being around family." I'm like, "Is it?" They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "How many are at the dinner table?" They're like, "There's like 8." I'm like, "Really? We're 42. So let's just stop it at that." Like, my aunt's kitchen has 42 people that are just somehow squished into folding table, like tables and chairs, and like guys who are like 6'2", 300 pounds are just squashed in between each other, sweating with no air conditioning. Like, this is Italian. So I do think that brings for a lot of comedy.
Well, now that brings up a good question. Like, so since you just got from the holidays and you had like a large group, did you have to perform any of the material in front of the family?
You know what's funny? I think because I'm the performer in the family, they all think I got it from them. So they're performing 100%. Like, my aunt has the music playing, she's singing. And if I go to sing, she's like, no, I do it like this. I'm like, right, that's right. I'm the one with the training degree, but that's okay. I'm just going to leave it at that. Everyone's got their thing. And truly, I think we all are the type that need to be heard. So we're all telling our stories or our thoughts at full volume. And we're all not yelling, but it sounds like we're yelling if you are standing outside of the room. And we're all telling our stories at full volume because we feel like our points need to be heard every minute.
So now you just told me you just got material for I guess my next question is, did you get material for your new comedy special after this one?
You know what? It's so funny. Yes, I like to say my husband gets mad at me when I say this. I'm not that good of a writer, because I just have really good material. Like, I just sit at one of the kitchen tables, my aunts, my uncle, whatever, and I just get material because they're all crazy. But I will say yes. And I also am now a parent. That brings on a whole level of new material. I mean, I also went through like crazy fertility journeys and like being pregnant. Like, I hate to get like, there is so much there. I haven't even scratched the surface that I was like, The other day, I thought maybe I don't have any more in me. This was a lot. I put so much into Italian Bread. And then I had a
Yeah.
parenting moment and I was like, who am I kidding? There's so much crap that goes on in a day, from trying to get pregnant, from getting pregnant to having a child to trying to adult. Now I have to adult and take care of my parents. Like, this is a whole new level.
Yeah. So now that the process is actually complete on the comedy special, and what was it like finally editing your first comedy special? And then also, what would you consider to be the most stressful part, and surprisingly the least stressful part of putting together this comedy special?
Putting together a comedy special is really fun and really tough. And what I mean by that is I don't like to watch myself, because I don't know if you feel this way, but when I'm performing, if you video me or someone's and I'm watching myself, I'm going, oh my God, that's the face I make when I impersonate my mother. I was like,
Mhm.
oh my God, like I particularly, I'm like, you look terrible. Like, and then I got all vain because welcome to Italians, where we're all vain.
Yeah.
And so that was really hard for me to stare at myself. I also shot the special a few months postpartum. So I was like, what? You needed more Spanx, Candice, way more Spanx. Like, oh my God. Like, I had these moments where I was like, holy crap. So those hit me. But you have to watch yourself over and over and sit with the editor and be like, no, no, go back. No, no, that part's funnier. Oh, I saved funnier on show 2 because I taped 2 shows and then we edited it into one,
Mhm.
just in case my mic or something went out in the first one, maybe we get a better take the second. So you can leave it up to the editor and you can be like, you just do it. But really, did I really just spend all these years writing this material for someone else to then tell the music of how the joke should be told? You know what I mean? Like, it is a musical thing when you story tell in general. Like, it's rhythmic. You need that rhythm. So you need to be sitting there and watching yourself. So for me, it was watching myself. I was like, oh, this is awful. And so I had to separate that it was me. And then I had to just hear the jokes. I had to just hear the story and the music that I wanted it to sound like, and all those things. So I had to separate myself. That was the hardest part. The
Mhm.
easiest part was, believe it or not, performing and getting everyone involved, like the day of the shoot, like being there with everyone, and the energy of the camera guys we had were amazing. Our director Sam was so good, and it was like that to me felt really easy because it was like a nice flow, and being in a theater for me is like gold. That's home, right? So I was like, all right, I'm in my happy zone. All I got to do is perform. There's some cameras, but who cares? Let's have a good time. That was the easy part. I'll say it again. The hard part was editing. I literally looked at my editor. I was like, how do you do this for a living? I can't. I literally, like, it's and we did good, but we could have got even further in and like criticized every word. I was like, I
Mhm.
can't handle it. It's fine. Cut, print, take, go. I was like, I can't.
That just means you're a perfectionist. That's just
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
that comes with, I heard that comes with parenting.
Yeah.
Parenting is so perfectionist.
Oh my God.
Oh man, but so the special comes out January 27th.
Yes.
What do you think you'll be doing that morning? The morning that it is released. Do you think there'll be nerves? Do you think there'll be just flat out joy? Do you think you'll celebrate with your 500 family members?
Someone asked me the other day, they're like, are you not having a watch party? I was like, am I supposed to do this? By the way, am I supposed to host my own? I don't want to put together a party. I was like, maybe my mom could do it. Like, I don't want to host anything right now, but I think I'm going to be a little nervous because I'm always a little nervous. Just my underneath is always a little bubbly. I don't know why. It just is. It's my mom because she's a nervous wreck. So I inherited a little bit of that. So there'll be a little nerves and a little shock because you just never think you're going to actually get to this point. And the show is extremely vulnerable at times. I reveal some stuff about me personally that I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said it like that because now the whole freaking world is going to see it. Okay, move on. You just have to like breeze through that. So there is going to be a little of that. But mostly totally grateful because, again, if you wrote me, I've said this before, if you wrote my career down on paper, I shouldn't be here. Like it shouldn't have worked out this way because I wasn't your traditional stand-up comedian or a traditional theater gal. So you would have thought like, oh, she just would have done a Broadway show. Oh, she just would have done a few, little TV roles and gone away. Like you would have thought I would have done this. So I am very grateful to anyone along the journey who was like, you know what, you're good. I'll give you a shot. I am very grateful for that.
Well, they do say that there's a comedy joke for throwing your own watch party. The joke always ends with, "At least you knew somebody watched it." At least you knew. And then on top of that, like, even though it's funny how you say that you like if you wrote this in the beginning, like you never probably would have been a stand-up, I guarantee you somebody in your family would have took your spot. And I've been talking to them about this special. So Italian Bred as a comedy special would have been created in the Guardino household. It just would have,
oh my God,
by somebody in there. So,
it would have been my sister. She would have been like, I could do it better.
Yeah, you know what? I'm starting to think like I'm gonna have to interview your sister soon because she'll come in and she'll be like, I definitely have a better special than Candice. Like, I don't want to outshine her because I know this is her dream, but I feel like I can be better. But I'm sure she can't. But
no, I don't know, because her literal comment to me when I told her the special got picked up was, so are you going to be like famous now? Because you are. If you are, it's because of me. And I was like, yes.
Now she's gonna brag to everybody. Like, my sister's famous. I mean, I'm cooler than her, but
and it's because of her. It's because of her character for sure.
Oh man. Well, you're touring in 2026. There's a lot going on. You have a pretty big tour like on the way, underway. Right?
I'm excited. Yeah, we have a bunch of dates already out, and we have a bunch of dates that are coming up that are about to be announced, and that's a lot of fun. I've written a book, so it's a comedic essay book that I'm starting to get out there, which is really fun and really exciting. It's got some great recipes in the back, so that makes me giggle. I was able to reveal some of Grandma's meeple recipes and things without being criticized and killed by my father.
Yes. True. What cities are you most excited for this year for the tour?
Oh gosh, cities. There's so many cities. I'm going to Florida. I love Florida. Florida always makes me giggle when I go to the state of Florida. Because you don't realize it, and then it's like so many people, so many are Italian, and I'm like, whoa. And then I love, anything on the East Coast is super fun. I do love California. I sometimes don't get so much Italians, but as I get people that are just like, oh my God, we have the same family. Oh my God, I'm Colombian. We have the same family. And that always blows my mind. I once had a lady write me the longest email. It was so cute. She was in from Russia visiting California, and she came and saw my show. And I was like, what are you doing here? She's like, I wanted to see a show. And she was from Russia, brought her whole family. After the show, she wrote me this whole long email telling me that our families are exactly alike. I'm like, lady, you live in Moscow. How is that possible? And she's like, yeah. Like we're the same thing. So it was really, really fun. So I always look forward to getting outside of the Northeast too, because that's just so exciting.
Oh, yes. Yeah. California, actually, we have a lot of surprising Italian spots and locations actually throughout the state that are pretty impressive. So yes, I definitely recommend that, like, when you're out here in California, I'd like to definitely see your heritage.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you're famous, so they'll know you when you get there.
I mean, that's sort of loose and fast with the word famous there, huh?
You're Italian famous, which means like, when they see you, they're gonna be like, "Hey," like really loud. And
but according to my family, I'm nothing. Well, nothing is good enough, but that's okay.
Well, it's family. That's family.
It gives me material. That's always what I say. You're just giving me more material.
You're not a good comedian unless your family humbles you every chance they get. So.
You know what? I actually said this the other day. I was like, are you a good comedian, storyteller, anything, if you haven't been through something traumatic and dysfunctional in your family life? I mean, you have to have been. But see, I draw from all of that.
Yeah. No, that's every comic. Some of the best jokes come from family embarrassing. But
yes.
Oh man. So Italian Bred comes out. Comedy Dynamics, Apple TV, Amazon Prime, January 27th. Give us a 30-second spiel on why fans should just watch this special besides the fact that they get to know more about your family and you just in general, why is this one of the funniest specials of 2026 to you?
Oh, I would love it to be the funniest special of 2026. I think it's going to bring families together and laugh about our trauma together. I think that's something that we all need to do. I mean, this country just needs to sit and laugh for a minute, right? Like it's like, and you need to laugh with your family because I think we forget to watch something together. So Mike, I know it's so like 2001, but I just want everyone to like sit around the TV, old school, and like watch a show and laugh. That's really what I wanted because I do think we all need that. And we all need to realize that we're all in the same boat. We're all dysfunctional in some way. We're all just trying to get through the day. And I mean, for me personally, it's like all I'm just trying to do is navigate my family, live a happy life, and make you laugh. So that's where we're at.
And that's all the things that you need for an amazing life. Now, where can fans buy tickets when they want to see you live when you are touring throughout the U.S.?
Yeah, so you can go on my website. It's CandiceGuardino.com. There's a bunch of links with all the different theaters and cities that I'm at. And then you can also go to the show website. It's ItalianBredShow.com. You can visit that too, and you can find out some more information about the show, the characters, and people that have supported and come out and seen me.
No, great. Well, Candice, this was great. I enjoyed talking to you. Actually, I enjoyed it so much that I kind of want to actually come to your house in New York, in the East Coast.
Anytime.
Yeah. Well, I only want to go when it's a family function, though. Like,
yeah, I know. You want to be a part of the dysfunction.
Yeah. Well, I want to actually now. I want to be a Guardino. I think I don't know how that goes. I don't know if it's just through birth or like.
All you gotta do is sit at the table, eat my mother's sauce, and be like, "This is really good." And she's in. You're in. You're in. You ate the food. You're in.
Done deal. Done deal. I can't wait to do all that. Italian Bred comes out January 27th, so check that out.
Yes.
Everywhere. Miss Candice Guardino, it was a pleasure. Always remember to laugh at life, Candice, because it's actually pretty funny. I'll see you later. Thank you, Candice.
Thank you so much.
Paul from WeOnTheLaughs.com. Thank you.